Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Raj Tekchandani, and you are listening to the Passive Investor Show.
The views and opinions provided on this show are for informational purposes only and should not be misinterpreted as an offer to buy or sell any securities or to make or consider any investment or course of action. For more information, please go to passiveinvestorshow.com.
Are you a busy professional looking to diversify your portfolio? Ever wanted to passively invest in real estate but don't know where to start? John Fortes provides you with a guide to passively invest in real estate. This is the Passive Investor Show.
And now, the Passive Investor Show. Here's your host, John Fortes.
Welcome, PI listeners, to the Passive Investor Show. I'm the Passive Investor Consultant, John Fortes, your host of the only ranked podcast for passive investors in multifamily syndications. Our goal and purpose of this show is to be a resource to passive investors and help them master their passive investments in real estate funds. My guest today is an honor. It's pretty much my neighbor, Raj Tekchandani. Raj, thank you for coming on the show, man. But before you answer anything, I want to just introduce you. Founder and manager and partner of Smart Capital, a techie turned full-time real estate professional with a passion for leveraging data. Raj bought his first condo in 2012, then 8 more over the next 4 years. Since then, he's transitioned and bought his first multifamily 15-unit in Massachusetts in 2016. Since then, he's first passively invested in a 151-unit apartment complex, Dalton, Georgia, invested in over 650 units in 2019 as a general partner, and has been invited on multiple podcasts. You've heard him worldwide. Raj manages 2 Facebook groups, Data-Driven Real Estate Investing and Apartment Investing in Multifamily Syndication, otherwise known as AIMS. Also a member of the Forbes Real Estate Council, and has published a free email course, 8 Pieces of Pie, and other e-guides earlier this year. Welcome to the show, my neighbor.
Hey, thank you, man. Glad to be here.
Appreciate you. Raj, tell us your background. I know we already got a glimpse of how you got started, but tell us how you got here.
Let's make it a short version of that. So I'm, like I said, techie by background, computer science undergrad, had been working in the software industry for pretty much all of my career. I did both corporate and startup jobs, but stuck mostly with startups. That's where my passion was. There was some entrepreneur in me that did not like the big corporate world. And so I kept doing my startups one after the other. And hopefully, one of them will make me some money with all the options that I'm sitting on. But fast forward to 2-3 years ago, when my last tech startup, I had done my complete 5 years. And I said, you know what, my options are all vested. I can go do another one of these in the tech data space, or I can do something in the real estate space. Since I have been investing in real estate for a while now, had my first multifamily, some passive investments, and some condos that I was getting decent cash flow from. So I actually went to school on multifamily investments, learned all about it, learned about syndications, learned about passive investing. And there it is. I, took a leap of faith and started doing this full time. And I'm loving and enjoying every day of it.
Thanks for sharing. So when did you start working with passive investors?
So my first, experience obviously was me as a passive investor when one of my friends brought a deal to me. This was about 6 years ago. And at that time, I did not understand, the large numbers, the number of zeros that were behind the digits. And I passed on to him saying that, I don't understand it. I'll probably have to learn more. And he was very willing to help me out, and he helped me a little bit. And I started, studying more and more. And after a couple of years, I listened to podcasts and, read books, and found my first passive investment through a webinar. And I said, I'm going to do this. And I learned more from that. I did a couple of more. And then I said, well, this is interesting. I can do this even more, and being even more closely to doing that. And I can help my friends who are in technology space, working, number of hours, and mostly invested in stock market. I said, you know what, this could be an avenue for me to guide them invest passively into real estate syndications.
I love that. I love how you went. And that's the most common way that people go from passive to active as they realize what they're doing and how it's working, how it's generating. And then they're sharing it with their friends and coworkers. And all of a sudden you become the go-to guy. So
yeah.
when did that first happen for you where your friends started reaching out and saying, hey, how are you doing this stuff?
Oh, well, I think I was the one who reached out to some friends. I remember very distinctly, there were like 6 of them. I had to buy them lunch and said, hey, come listen to me, guys. I am working on something that will interest you. And literally, I just bought really chicken biryani for everybody and, had made them sit down and listen to me. Interestingly, they were intrigued. They asked me a lot of questions. And, a couple of them said, well, let us know when you have investments. We'll dig more. And so I expanded that circle to other people. They shared what they had learned with other people and so on, and the group get larger. And this time I realized I was answering the same questions again and again to, all these investors or potential investors. And so I said, let me start networking and going to meetups, groups and all that to share what I've learned. But realized that, there was not too many meetups that are dedicated to what I was doing. That was basically, passive investing in multifamily syndications. They're out there, but there are very few. A lot of meetups around me, and you probably know this, are drinking. A lot of they drink beer, they talk, and they sometimes they have a speaker. Otherwise, they just network and come home. Great for networking, but very hard to learn if you are a learner like me. So I said, okay, that's all good and dandy, but I will probably start my own meetup where I will just make sure it's educational meetup. I will not expand it to too big of a number. And that's what we kept going. I had, 10 and then 15 and then 25 and then 40 people. And we were basically running out of the space that I had in my work shared office. We were standing, desks, people were standing behind the desks. And I said, this is great. And we took one topic, educational topic, and just discussing that. And that's how the meetup grew. And now it has over 650 members in that meetup.
Love it. So yeah, you mentioned the meetups that are around us. It's predominantly fix and flip meetups. It's right. Heavy out here where a lot of investors looking for private capital to fix and flip a single family home. So there wasn't a lot of multifamily. And when you created that, you had that gravitational pull of, hey, there's a new lane here. Let me go and check that out. I love what you created there. Raj, I know you have a lot of investors, and walk us through what your onboarding process for a new investor looks like.
I think it all starts with education, man. It all starts with education. And I encourage every person that I meet who is interested is to, get educated I send them, guides, books, whatever it is. My website is very educational. So that is the first step of that. And even then I say, you know what? For you to invest, we have to build a certain relationships, required by SEC. You guys know that. So I have to share all of that with them. And then I just walk them through deals. My past deals or, some, deals that I've done in the past or deals I've not done in the past and why we didn't do it, why we did it. And I just walk them through deals, make sure they're comfortable with asking every questions that is out there for them to. And at some point, they get comfortable and they say, I think I understand. This guy seems trustworthy. I'm going to invest with him in his next deal.
Hey, real estate investors. Did you know that you can invest in real estate with your 401k or IRA? Through NewView Trust Company, you don't have to worry about the volatile stock market to make smart money moves. NewView has a free self-directed IRA guide you can get right now. That's right, PI listeners. I said right now. Go to newviewtrust.com to get your hands on it and learn more. Since their founding, NewView Trust has strived to provide clients with the broadest possible choices in their IRAs. So head to newviewtrust.com to download their free guide that could help you invest your retirement account in real estate and much more. That's NUVIEW trust.com. newviewtrust.com. The more you know, the more we grow. Happy investing. So you are fully educating them, and you're pretty much giving them FAQs.
Oh yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
Frequently asked questions.
Yeah. So when you go to my website, there's a glossary, there is an FAQ, there is like intro videos to complicated terms. Now I have written guides on starting how to get started in syndication, a guide on 50 terms that you should know before investing in a syndication, and there is a guide on 99 questions to ask of a syndicator before you start investing in syndication.
Awesome. I love it. So when you went from passive to active, what is something you had to implement prior to working with passive investors like yourself?
What did I have to implement? I mean, I definitely had to get more savvy about finding right deals, underwriting deals. So as a passive investor, you need to know underwriting, but not to the extent that you need to know as an active investor. Now, basically, you are investing your money and your investors' money into. So you make sure that the deal that you're looking at is the right deal. So a lot of data analytics, which is my passion, finding out the right markets, underwriting, multiple ways, doing the, different kind of tests on the deal to make sure it comes through. So there's a lot more involved as an active. And then, you need to stay on top of once the deal closes, you need to stay on top of the operations. Yeah, I'm not an asset manager, but I love to stay involved with the asset managers on the team. I love to get involved in the team meetings and bring all that knowledge back on a monthly basis to my investors.
Absolutely. So the asset management piece, and matter of fact, the technology piece, you're a techie. I'm an IT guy as well. What are some of the things you're using to correlate your data and all of that?
So some of the things, I mean, we have not implemented, but it's out there. But I've done research in sentiment analysis and all that good stuff that's coming down the road from data analytics perspective. Obviously, we use tools and technologies that are easier to use. I mean, common interfaces, easier interfaces to use. So we look into all that data-driven approach to operations as well. And there are companies out there doing that. So try to leverage those companies rather than doing it all yourself.
What sets you apart from other sponsors? Why would someone invest with Smart Capital?
Because maybe because of my passion for data. I mean, so when they are coming to me, they probably know that they will get some research reports that they may not get from other sponsors. And I'll share everything that I've done or reports that I like to see before I invest as a passive investor. So it's a lot of market analysis, jobs analysis, job growth, other STEM kind of jobs. We go through a bunch of data factors that I share with my investors to say, hey, this is how I look at deals. This is how our group looks at deals, and this is how you should look at deals. And if you have any questions, ask me. So again, maybe the differentiator would be the passion for data that I put into all deals.
I love it. You keep it very transparent. I love that. I love that. You don't let them go in unless they know how to.
Oh no,
they get past a certain barrier.
Yeah, in my earlier days, I had some friends. They were like, Raj, we know you from childhood. Can you just invest this $50,000 for me? I said, no way. I will not invest your $50,000. You will invest your $50,000, but I'll help you do it, and I'll show you how to do it right.
Love it. You're giving them you're taking the training wheels off them.
Exactly.
I love it. Raj, one piece of advice for the PI listeners.
Man, research. Try to find out as much as about the deal. Like I said, I have these guides that I've written out, and it took some thought in writing those. When I say there is 100 questions you should ask before, the title is 99 questions, but you should ask and think about before investing. That's a great resource for listeners to have it and make sure they understand all aspects of it. And it goes through how to vet a sponsor, how to vet a property, how to vet a market, how to vet a business plan, and what to expect. So it goes through all that, and I think every investor should know about that.
Real quick, you're working with a lot of high net worth, and you're working with a lot of basically C-suite operate in their businesses, and they might be too busy on that. What is the pushback you get from, hey, I don't want to learn all of this. Why don't you go do it? Do you get pushback like similar to how you had your friends approach you? Do you get pushback like, can you invest this capital for me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have some, very bright, very intelligent friends who say, you know what, I really don't have the time to do all this. And I said, dude, if you don't have the time, I'm not going to push you. But you need to make time for this. If you just want to invest your money, make sure wherever you invest, with me or with somebody else or in the stock market that you do, make sure you know what you're investing in. And that's my motto will become, get smarter before you invest, and hence the name Smart Capital. So I want my investors to be smart.
I love it. Raj, how can we stay in touch with you?
Hey man, my website is www.smartcapitalmgmt.com. And one thing more that I forgot to mention, I also have an email course. It's an 8-day email course. I call it the 8 Pieces of Pie, which stands for Passive Investor Education. It's a great start for people who have not much time. It's a condensed course over 8 days, simple emails that come to you, but a lot of thoughtful process put into that. I've got some great feedback on the course from people who had no idea about real estate or syndication. That's one thing to check out. And my email is Raj, R-A-J, at smartcapitalmgmt.com. Happy to talk to anybody who is interested in it.
I love it. Thank you, Raj. Raj, last question, and I think you already touched on it. What is the meaning behind your company name?
Like I said, get smarter, man. Get smarter. I like to make sure that every investor is a smart investor, and that I am investing their capital in a smart way. And that's why I say real estate investing the smart way is smart capital.
Raj, thank you for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, John.
PI listeners, thank you for listening. As always, we hope this was the best resource for your investment strategy, but also the best use of your time. As much as it pains us to leave you, but you know what time it is. Time to go put this into practice. Till the next time we meet. Happy investing. PI listeners, I'm grateful for your time and I appreciate you for listening. It would mean the world to me if you went to iTunes and left a rating and written review. Let me know how you feel about the show. It really makes a big difference with getting the podcast out there. Don't forget about our Facebook group, where all of our guests are members of. I'll be there to answer any of your questions, or even questions you might have for future guests. Subscribe so you can get the latest episodes and our fan favorite quick hitters. Finally, I want to keep you updated, so head over to johnfortes.com and sign up for the newsletter. If you're interested in partnering with me, sign up on the contact page so you can talk to me directly. I look forward to connecting with you. Happy investing.